Hello everybody, thank you for tuning in to Dope First Mom. Again, we are back with another video. Now, in my last video, I shared my labor and delivery experience, and I know that I said I was going to talk about my postpartum experience. I feel like it's still a little bit too early for that, for I'm still riding this wave. I'm literally only 2.5 weeks in postpartum thus far, so I want to wait to gain just a little bit more quote-unquote experience, a few more days in. So I'm going to do my postpartum update once I reach 1 month. So in this video, as per the title discusses, we will be talking about breastfeeding, the good, the bad, the engorged, in my experience of breastfeeding thus far. So I first want to talk about the engorged. For those of you all who do not know what engorgement is, it's basically when your breast, after you deliver your baby, your body, releases hormones and things shoot off to your brain and off to your body to let your body know that it's time to start producing milk. So your first day or two, you produce colostrum, which is not necessarily milk per se, but it's the beginning stages of milk. And typically by day three for me, day 4 or 5, I've been told that some women it takes a couple of weeks for their milk to produce. But on an average, between day 3 and day 5 is when your milk should definitely start coming in. And it comes in full force, okay? Do not make the mistake I did, and I did not pump. No one told me about how important it was to pump right when you leave the hospital, or like a couple of days after delivering your baby. Like, it's very vital. My boobs grew within like a 5-hour time span, and I didn't know what was going on. I mean, I knew at that point it was engorgement, but I didn't know it happened so fast. I woke up that morning like around 10 or something, and we had errands to run, and I was like, my goal was to pump before we had left, and I didn't get a chance to pump for the first time. And I was like, oh, I could just pump later on tonight. It was absolutely too late. So your boobs get really, really big. They get super, super hard. They're very, very sore, very tender. They hurt so bad. Literally, I would rather go through labor again than have to deal with engorgement. It is literally the worst pain ever. And I think mine got to a really bad case because it was extremely painful. I felt myself, at first it was like a sense of being annoyed, and then I had a sense of being angry, and then I felt like I was on the verge of like going into a depressed mode. And I had to get it together. It was like, Ty, you got to get yourself together. Because it was very painful, and it just was not fun. Like, I could barely hold my baby. Like, it hurt to hold her, lay her on me. It hurt laying down in general, whether I wanted to lay on my sides. And laying on my stomach was definitely a no-go. Like having my boobs pressed up against the bed was definitely a no-go. So, yeah, engorgement was not fun. So, my piece of advice is to pump ASAP. Pump as soon as possible, okay? Nursing your baby is not going to help with the engorgement. Yes, continue to nurse your baby, but have a pump, and pump ASAP, okay? I was so desperate, I even used the cabbage leaves method, which did absolutely nothing for me, okay? So, also with my experience with engorgement, it led me to not want to breastfeed. I had quit breastfeeding for like 2 days. I was putting the ice packs on my boobs, trying to dry up my milk, and I was just like, I'm not breastfeeding. I ended up having a change of heart, and I woke up one morning, and I was like, okay, I'm going to try this again. And I pumped, and literally, I had pumped for maybe like 5 minutes. Yeah, I pumped for 5 minutes, and I had 10 ounces of milk. Oh my gosh. It was funny. And my boobs felt so much better. Like, they have felt so much better. They literally deflated. Like, I've always been a B cup, like 32, 34B, pre-baby. And of course my boobs grew during pregnancy. But engorgement, they were literally double Ds. It looked like I had implants. Like, I was sending the pictures to my mom and my friends, and they were like, oh my gosh, Ty, your boobs are huge. They look like implants. And I'm like, I know. They feel like implants too. So, yes, I decided to do the breastfeeding thing again. And like I said, I woke up the next morning and I pumped, and my boobs felt so much better. Like, so much better. So, I am currently breastfeeding, pumping. What they call an EP, an exclusive pumping mom. Nova does not nurse directly on me. Honestly, before I had quit, I was pumping and nursing, and it was exhausting. Every mom is different. Everybody's lifestyle is different. Some people really, really want that experience of their baby nursing on them. Me, not to sound really blunt about it in that type of manner, but I don't really care if she nurses directly or via bottle. I always had in my mind that she would never just nurse on me. No, we're going to do nursing and feeding out of the bottle, because I'm not going to be the only one who's going to be waking up over the night. So yeah, but yeah, it was just exhausting. So I just was like, I'm just pumping. She's still getting breast milk. That's really all that really matters, or whatever. So I am an EP exclusive pumping. So my experience with pumping, first of all, I got my breast pump through my insurance. For those of y'all who do not know, if you have insurance, you are eligible for a free breast pump. I will put the link below to the website that I went to get my free breast pump. Yes, so make sure you get your free breast pump. Even if you end up not liking it, just at least get one to see if you like that brand, and research your brands, because they give you a variety. Well, the website I went to, they gave me a variety of brands. I didn't just have one brand to choose from. So do your research and see which one you think will work best for you. Watch YouTube videos on people's experiences with the breast pump, I would definitely say as well. But I have the Medallia Pump and Style Advanced. That's the one I got through my insurance. And I got my breast pump. I was super excited about pregnancy. I think I got my breast pump when I was like 12 weeks or 2 months maybe. I got my breast pump very, very early, and it came like a week or two within the mail. Didn't take a long time at all. But yes, anywho, it is a double breast pump. And yes, so I pump about every 2 to 3 hours, typically 3 because I am kind of lazy, and pumping every 2 hours is very exhausting. There are some days when I want to build up my milk supply and I will pump every 2 hours, but it is very, very exhausting pumping every 2 hours, because don't think that it's just you pumping every 2 hours. No. In the in-between time that you're waiting for your next pumping session, you're tending to your baby and trying to get in whatever other stuff that you want to do. Small, simple things. It's like taking a shower is like the best thing that I get to do every day. Honestly, seriously. So yeah, I pump about every 2 to 3 hours. Overnight, it's hard for me to stick to the every 2 to 3 hours moment, just because I don't like waking up throughout the night. I already have to wake up to tend to her. So yeah, I definitely don't do every 2 hours overnight. I may do 3, but definitely not every 2. But typically overnight, I stretch it to 4 or 5 hours, just because I love my sleep and I try to get it in as much as I can. Yes. Another thing, I try to freeze at least 3 to 4 bags of milk per day. I use storage. I don't necessarily have a brand that I like right now. People just gave me storage bags that they didn't need anymore, or couldn't pump, so they gave me the storage bags that they had. So I'm utilizing those. And then when I go to the store and find a brand that I like or feel like it's a plastic bag, but there's people out there that have particular brands that they like, whatevs. But the bags that I'm using thus far, I think it looks like they're Target brand bags. They work pretty good. They hold up to about 6 ounces. Well, they hold up to 6 ounces. Simple date, label, and time. And yeah, so I try to freeze at least 3 to 4 bags a day. I started my stockpile maybe about 4 days ago. And it's been pretty copacetic thus far. One other thing when it comes to myself when freezing my milk, when I drink coffee, I freeze that milk because I have learned that when I drink coffee, it keeps Nova up. It keeps her up. One day I drank coffee and the milk that I had pumped out that day, I guess she drank it in one of her night feeding times, and she was up for like 3 hours. And it was like during peak time of sleep time. She was up from like 11 to like 2:33. And I was like, oh my gosh, please go to sleep, please. And I so happened to be on night duty that night. I was so sad. Like, I was so sad. So yes, all of my coffee milk, I freeze. If I drink coffee, I freeze the milk. The next 3 feedings, I freeze those bags of milk. 4, depending on how much coffee I drink. But I have decided that when I do unfreeze that milk, that will be used for daytime feedings. Because even now, I tested it with her, and she still tends to be a little fidgety and wanting to stay up. So I just rather not chance it, especially with her being still in that newborn phase. I want her body to get acclimated to just sleep, a pattern, and all of that good stuff. So she'll probably get the coffee milk once she gets older, 3 or 4 months older. And yeah, but right now she's just not ready for it. I'm not ready for it because I don't want another episode like that, especially not overnight. That was not fun. That was not fun. So again, I am an exclusive pumping only mom. Honestly, I went in that breastfeeding was just a normal routine, in which it is, and it does get better day by day, but it is very exhausting. Like, very exhausting. It's a lot of work. It's honestly not what you think it is from watching videos or hearing people's experience. I feel like it's something that you really have to go through to understand, because it's hard. It is hard, but I do like the fact that she is having my milk and not formula, even though during those 2 days that I quit, she was drinking formula. But I do like the fact that she's having my milk and not formula. But it is hard work. It's very exhausting mentally and physically. Like I said, you are getting up all the time, pumping. When you have a chance to have a break from pumping, or when you finish pumping, like I said, your baby may wake up. You have to take care of your baby, feed your baby, change their diapers, soothe them, get them back to sleep. And by the time you've worked out that routine for the past hour, and you've done whatever other things that you may have wanted to do, like take a shower, wash the dishes, or clean, it's time to pump again. And then after you finish pumping, it's time to tend back to your baby again. So it's very exhausting. And once you start producing milk, once you start producing milk and once you start pumping more often, your pump sessions won't be as long. Like at first, I used to pump for 30 minutes. And I used to be like, oh. I would try to find something interesting on Netflix to watch, or put on CNN Don Lemon and watch him to make the time go by fast. I'm like, this is so boring, just watching your milk drip for 30 minutes. Now my pump sessions are anywhere from about 10 minutes, from anywhere 7 to 15 minutes, which I could deal with that. I can definitely deal with that, especially overnight. Like, I don't want to wake up to have to pump for 30 minutes, but it is what it is. You do what you have to do for yourself and your baby. And the other thing is just making sure that you're eating the right things. In our last visit with our pediatrician, she asked me about my eating habits, and honestly, my appetite has decreased quite a bit. So she asked that I intake my calorie intake and eating more protein. So making sure you're eating the right things. She said even though I'm eating fruits and stuff, that's not enough calorie intake for the baby, because you're already losing about 500 calories with just pumping, if you're pumping on an average about 8 times a day. So that is important, to make sure that you're eating and not overeating. Just don't go eat a whole bunch of junk food, but just make sure that you're getting your calorie intake in and taking care of your body, which is essentially going to take care of your baby as well. And as far as what I do to keep my milk supply up and make sure that and to also increase my milk supply, I know they have the lactation cookies, the brownies, they have all these other things, flax seeds and all this other stuff that you could purchase and buy. But literally, I just drink a lot of water and I eat oatmeal. I eat about 1 to 2 cups per day of oatmeal, and it definitely helps me produce a lot of milk, like a lot of milk. Like right now, I have 90 ounces of milk in the freezer, and in the refrigerator I have 30, 40. I have about 50 ounces of milk, 60 ounces of milk in the refrigerator right now. So mama has got the milk flow coming. And of course, refrigerator milk is just milk that she's about to eat. And also what I do, a tip when it comes to the bottles in her milk, I go ahead and pour her bottles. Her bottles are already pre-poured. I arrange them between 3 to 4 ounces, because sometimes she doesn't drink a whole bottle, and then sometimes your girl is like super hungry and she's like, so yeah. And it makes my life and her dad's life a whole lot easier overnight. When we're warming up a bottle, we just put the bottle on the stove while we change her diaper. By the time we finish changing her diaper, her bottle is warm, she's ready to eat and ready to go. So having the bottles pre-poured is definitely a lifesaver, because at first I would leave them in the Medallia bottles and then pour them in her bottle, and I'm like, why am I wasting time doing this when I could just have the bottles pre-poured? So yeah. So that is my pumping routine and pumping experience. I have recently, like I said, I recently started on my freezer stockpile. I had some notes wrote down. I recently started on my freezer stockpile. And so like I said, right now I have about 80, oh this is 80. I have about 80 ounces of, from the past 4 days, I have about 80 ounces of frozen milk. And I'm sorry, I cannot tell my calculations from all this scribble scrap. So from the past 4 days, I have about 105 ounces of 105 ounces of frozen milk. An average feed for your baby is about 32 ounces per day. And so with 30 days times 32, that's 960 ounces per month. Because my question to myself was, I want to stop pumping after 3 months. I want to be able to eat, drink, if you know what I mean. What I want. I've gone a long time with constraining myself, you know, and I love that she's having breast milk, but I don't want to be limited for too much longer. But I'm definitely going to do it for my baby for 3 months for sure. So yeah, so a month's supply worth of milk is 960 ounces. So with my stash, if I remain consistent, it will take me about 36 days of pumping just to save up a month's worth of milk. Just to save up a month's worth. So if I pump consistently for the next 3 months before I have to go back to work, I will save an additional 3 months worth of milk, which is good because I wanted to breastfeed her for 6 months. So that will put me at my close to my 6-month goal if I continue to pump consistently and freeze over the next 3 months. Which 36 days isn't a full month. It's like a little bit over a month, but yeah, hopefully all that made sense. If not, I'll have that stuff below. I'll have that below. But anywho, so yes, I've started my freezer stash, which has been pretty exciting watching that build up. The bad that I have endured thus far with my breast pumping, like I said, the constant pumping, and then for those of you all who plan on nursing and pumping, you have to worry about doing both, nursing and pumping. But the constant pumping, the sore nipples, I don't really have sore nipples too often. They itch a lot, but they're not really sore. I did have sore nipples when I was nursing. So if you nurse, your nipples will be sore. From the hospital, I got actually a store-sized tube of nipple cream. And that's another thing. When you're at the hospital, get as much free stuff as you can, okay? Ask them, hey, you got nursing pads? Hey, you got nipple cream? She was even going to give me parts, and I didn't even take the parts. But they gave me parts to the what do you call it? The pump or whatever to use for my pump. And she's like, yeah, we have these extra parts. You could take these home. And I honestly forgot them there on the counter. But get all of the free stuff that you can. So yeah, sore nipples is one, but there is nipple cream to cure that. The other bad thing sometimes is getting your baby to latch. That's another reason why I kind of gave up on nursing. Nova, she definitely latched, but she wouldn't stay on for long, and I would have to re-latch her. And it was like she would latch and, of course, take a little break, but then she would pull away. So then I had to re-latch her again, and it was like, it's hard when they take that first chomp. And I'm just like, geez, for somebody who doesn't have teeth, this hurts. This hurts. So yeah, getting your baby to latch, it could be a good or a bad experience for you. Leaky boobs. So nursing pads, I have mine in right now, are essential, okay? I typically don't wear them around the house, but I didn't want to have an accident while recording this video. My boobs typically do not begin to leak until about the 4th or 5th hour if I have not pumped, which is why overnight I stretch it to like 4 or 5 hours, because that's literally like the max, and I hate waking up to a wet shirt or a wet bra. But nursing pads are essential, especially if you're going to be out and about, away from home, where you know you won't be able to pump for a while, or you'll probably be pushing it before you get to your pump or your baby to nurse. Nursing pads are essential. It will be quite embarrassing having 2 wet spots right here, because let me tell you, when your boobs start leaking, they just start leaking. There's nothing you can do to stop them but to pump or nurse. So make sure you get some nursing pads. I keep some in her diaper bag. I keep some in my car. I keep them in my purse, because you never know. Just treat it as like you being on your menstrual cycle. Always just keep panty liners or pads. Well, I don't know. I was the type of person. I would have panty liners or pads everywhere. When I go back to work, I want to make sure I have a stash of nursing pads at work too. You just never know. So leaky boobs is one. Saggy boobs, I didn't think that I would get them, but I got them. I mean, my boobs don't sag extremely bad, but I definitely can tell that they're sagging or they have reached that sagged moment. So just be prepared for it. It happens. That's what a good push-up bra is for. Don't be sad. Don't be sad. And then for me, the coffee intake, I love drinking coffee. I drank coffee throughout my whole entire pregnancy. So right now, to be restricted on coffee sucks, especially when you're getting no sleep. A little sleep. Let me stop being dramatic. A little sleep. This is the time I really want coffee. I thought I was getting no sleep before tossing and turning with a pregnant belly. My lack of sleep now has definitely increased with her actually being here. So now I definitely need coffee. So it's so sad. So sad. Luckily, like I'm a pumping mom, so I could pump and freeze my milk. But those moms that nurse, be careful with the coffee. I would say definitely try it. There's some moms that said that they didn't have any problems with their baby when taking in coffee. There's some moms that have energy drinks and their babies didn't have any problems. But Miss Nova and coffee, yeah, keeps her up for sure. Keeps her up for sure. And then the good with breastfeeding, you spend $0 breastfeeding outside of your accessory purchases as far as your nursing pads and nursing bra, nursing tank top. Those things you don't have to have. Like I did not buy any nursing tank tops, any nursing bras. I am thinking about buying the nursing bra that holds your pump, just so I can be a little bit more hands-free. Right now, I kind of make it work. I might prop my boob up against the table and have to have one hand free so I could do stuff. But yeah, it would be nice to have two hands free so I can also do stuff with Miss Nova as well, like feed her when my boobs are leaking and she's hungry and I have to choose her over my leaky boobs. So yeah. I will probably definitely buy one of those nursing bras. But yeah, outside of your nursing accessories, you spend $0 on breastfeeding. And that is another reason why I was like, okay, reconsider this thing, Ty, because formula is going to add up. Formula is going to add up. The health benefits with breastfeeding your baby and giving your baby your breast milk, and then the bonding experience. Even though I did not nurse for long, I only nursed for like a week, it was nice having that moment actually nursing her. I can only imagine those moms who are nursing full-time and who have nursed definitely much longer than I did. Yeah, it is a nice moment. It's a nice moment, especially in the beginning, because you carry this person for 9 months and then you push them out. You go through labor, you go through these contractions, you finally hold them, and you just have this great bonding experience with them. So, yeah. But that is my good, bad, engorged, my pumping experience. And for those of you all who don't nurse, don't feel bad, because you're still giving your baby your breast milk. Don't feel bad because you are an exclusive only pumping mom. And for those that don't nurse or pump, don't feel bad that you give your baby formula. You are doing what works best for you and your family, and most importantly, your mental health and your sanity. Because I definitely understand why people do not want to breastfeed. It's like I said, it's a lot of work and it's very exhausting. So if you choose to do formula, by all means, no judgment over here at Dope First Mom at all. Because I get it, sis. I get it. But I will recommend someone had a friend of mine tell me about a German-based formula called Holly. I think that's how you pronounce it. It's based out of Germany, so you would have to buy it and it be shipped to you. But it is a natural organic formula, and I learned actually a couple of days from a mom whose family is actually from Europe. that the formula over there is made out of goat milk, and their formulas rate better than our formulas here in America. So those 2 days I did quit, when we were looking to do formula, we were definitely going to go with Holly, the German formula that was told to us, but they actually have other brands as well, and I'll put those links below as well in the description. But excuse me. But if you are going to do formula, just research and educate and see what other options are out there outside of our American formula. Because when Nova does run out of milk, we will get formula, and it will be the German Holly formula. She will not have Similac. She will not have Enfamil. She will definitely not have Similac because the 2 days that she did have it, it was a lot of spit up going on, and I didn't like it. But yes, that is my experience on breastfeeding. I hope that my video was very informative. If you have any questions, anything that you may want to know or that I did not cover, please just message me and I will be happy to answer all of your questions. And again, thank you for tuning in and subscribing, liking, and sharing. We greatly appreciate it. And stay tuned for the next video.